He's big. He's blue. He's back.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're looking at movie sequels that aged like stale milk while their predecessors aged like fine wine. We're excluding prequels like The Phantom Menace.
Well, that smells stinking with.
Losing power.
Number 10, Batman Forever.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Batman.
Where Tim Burton's two Batman movies existed in a Gotham City untouched by time, Joel Schumacher's foray into the franchise is an evident product of the 90s.
Doesn't Batman ever kiss the girl?
Trading neo-noir for a flashy neon nightclub aesthetic. The casting also feels incredibly 90s, with Val Kilmer as a more kid-friendly Batman.
I had to save them both. You see, I'm both Bruce Wayne and Batman. Not because I have to be. Now, because I choose to be.
Jim Carrey at the peak of his popularity as the Riddler, and a 20-something Chris O'Donnell trying to pass himself off as a teenager with attitude.
I could definitely get into the superhero gig.
In addition to channeling Power Rangers, it doesn't help that the look and tone draws inspiration from the 60s Batman show.
Bruce, are you jealous?
No, I can't be jealous of Batman.
I want to be close, but you won't let me near. What are you protecting me from?
Which was already dated. The studio doubled down on much of this in Batman and Robin, the film that temporarily killed the franchise, and the word cowabunga. Cowabunga! Number 9, An American Werewolf in Paris. An American Werewolf in London holds up with some of the horror genre's best practical effects, winning Rick Baker an Oscar for his makeup.
Tomorrow night's the full moon. You're gonna change.
A sequel was in development for over a decade until finally reaching the screen without any of the original's key players.
Join us. I'd rather die. And so you shall.
Baker's makeup expertise wasn't necessary because CGI was the shiny new toy. Now, instead of painstakingly transforming a human into a practical werewolf, Hollywood could rely on computers and nobody would know the difference.
What are you doing? Run! Run for your life, Batman!
Audiences quickly caught on, though. And by modern standards, the werewolves wouldn't even cut it on a sci-fi original movie. Some scenes don't even show the werewolves, relying on POV shots, which could be effective if we didn't already see how ridiculous the monsters look. Number 8, The Neverending Story 3.
A terrible plague has overrun the Silver City. I was driven out of the Ivory Tower by a force so powerful, even the Orin was unable to stop it.
The Neverending Story has endured as a definitive 80s kids movie with creatures that still feel real.
And how do we find a human child?
With luck.
Faster, Falcor, faster! We have to hurry!
All right, hang on tight.
Its effects team had a Star Wars alumni in Brian Johnson, who noted that since the film was produced in Germany, they had numerous experienced puppeteers. For the third and ironically final film, Jim Henson's Creature Shop brought Fantasia's residents to life.
Oh, I'm losing altitude! Look out below!
Although the Henson name is usually synonymous with quality practical effects, everyone got a massive downgrade.
Fly faster, Falcor!
Oh, yeah, easy for you to say. My back is killing me.
All right, let's head to my house.
This is especially apparent in Falcor, who looks like an unfinished animatronic from an abandoned amusement park. The only thing more dated than the effects is Jason James Richter's hairdo.
Would you happen to have a comb or a brush?
Honey, I think you should have thought of that before you put it... No, I don't. But don't worry. You look perfectly... Impressive.
Just to remind us that this came out in the 90s, Richter is promoted as the star of Free Willy. Number 7. The Return of Jafar. Disney's straight-to-video sequels are known for lowering expectations. Since Return of Jafar was the first in a long line of cash grabs, though, going from the 1992 blockbuster to this was jarring.
I've traveled east and west, and now I'm back again.
Even compared to the sequels that followed, Return of Jafar feels particularly dated, with the color and sharp expressive comedy sucked out. We suppose this makes sense for a film that was originally supposed to be a TV pilot stretched out over multiple episodes. It also had a budget of roughly $5 million, less than 5 times what Aladdin cost.
Jasmine, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have kept Iago a secret. Please,
Aladdin, you don't
I've got to say this.
I can't forget about my heart.
I can't forget about
and how
my
it felt to fall for you right from the start.
Then again, Warner Home Video's Tiny Toons, How I Spent My Vacation, was produced for $350,000 and looked infinitely better. Where that film had animation powerhouse TMS, Jafar settled for second rate.
Sorry to spoil your picnic, boys, but I can't have any genies mucking about, ruining my plans.
Number 6. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Raph, give it a rest, will ya? Yeah!
It's hard to separate the original Ninja Turtles movie from the year it came out. Even with all the 1990s vibes, the first film has aged surprisingly well. This is largely thanks to the state-of-the-art turtle suits courtesy of Jim Henson's Creature Shop.
Excellent! Yeah! Come on, let's move it. I'm starving.
While the Henson team returned for the second film, they weren't involved in the third, and it's painfully obvious. Where the turtle suits in the first 2 films all had subtle differences, they're practically interchangeable here, other than the colored bandanas.
Step back, dudes! I just brought us some heavy artillery!
The designs are cringeworthy with googly eyes, dopey mouths, and more teeth than any turtle should have. We guess they're slightly better than the turtles from the Coming Out of Their Shells tour, but not by much. Number 5. Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
I know what it is I want to change.
Considering what the 1968 classic achieved on a budget of $5.8 million, you'd think the studio would invest more in subsequent installments. As the Apes series went on, though, the budget decreased. By the time we got to this continuity's 5th and final chapter, the filmmakers had less than $2 million to work with.
No humans in council!
Other than a few set pieces, the film lacks the original sweeping post-apocalyptic atmosphere.
Your squirrel is missing. He must have been out looking for it. How is Cornelius? Hurt. He's badly hurt.
Although makeup artist John Chambers worked on all 5 films, the apes here look like they're doing a publicity stunt for Spirit Halloween. Even director J. Lee Thompson felt the reduced budget did the film a disservice, most notably during the climax. Which feels more like a battle for a micronation than a planet.
Did the humans follow you here?
We saw no sign of it. But we must prepare for the day when they may come out of the city.
Number 4. King Kong Lives. From one damn dirty ape to another. By today's standards, the 1976 remake of King Kong might come off as a little hokey, yet we can see why the film received an Oscar for its effects. Which included a 40-foot mechanical Kong that only appeared on screen for a few seconds. Its follow-up was produced a decade later. Despite the technological advances during that time, the sequel is an all-around embarrassment. How embarrassing? When Siskel and Ebert wanted to discuss King Kong Lives on their national TV show, the studio wouldn't let them feature any clips.
It's enough, Will. Leave the damn animal alone.
Oh, Miss Johnstone. You getting squeamish, honey?
You're gonna kill him, but don't torment the poor son of a bitch.
Of course, nothing is stopping us from showing clips. Just watching a few minutes of footage, you can see why the studio tried keeping the ape under wraps. Number 3. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Say what you will about the excessive CGI in the Star Wars prequels, but those effects were game-changing for the time, and some shots still look impressive years later. That's more than can be said about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Even in 2008, the CG gophers, monkeys, and aliens looked like something from the previous gaming console generation.
See off of what? Big damn ants, go!
The effects have only grown more facepalm-inducing with time, which is disappointing considering how well the CG has aged in Steven Spielberg's other blockbusters like Jurassic Park. Spielberg and George Lucas wanted Crystal Skull to honor B-movies, just as Raiders of the Lost Ark was a tribute to serials.
What are they, spacemen?
Interdimensional beings, in point of fact.
Welcome back, Ox.
Rather than pay homage to B-movies, they made a C-movie, and we think that grade is generous.
Oh, that can't be good.
Number 2. Jaws 3D.
Come on. Don't try to
Come on. Come on.
No. Boy, come on.
Speaking of B-movies, that's essentially what the original Jaws could have been. Between Steven Spielberg's masterful direction and several happy accidents, Jaws defied every expectation. Those anticipating a cheap monster movie had to wait for its sequels. While it's debatable if Jaws 3D is the franchise's lowest point, this is the most dated sequel. That's primarily due to its 3D gimmick. Which was a trend in the early 80s. 3D made another comeback decades later, but Jaws 3D served as a reminder of how not to utilize this technology. Whether viewed in 2D or 3D, the shark never appears threatening. Where the original cleverly concealed the shark for much of its runtime, it's prominently displayed here, as if the filmmakers were seriously proud of this.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. The first 2 Superman movies were events that treated the Man of Steel with the gravitas he deserved. With Christopher Reeve's fourth and sadly last outing, Superman deteriorated into a joke. The campier tone is reflected in the $17 million budget, which is less than half what the previous 3 films were produced on. Initially, the film was going to be made for $36 million, but as the Cannon Group fell on hard financial times, they cut virtually every corner.
Why don't you stop and smell the roses, huh? Get yourself a hobby, a pet, a kitten, a puppy.
This extended to the special effects team, with the studio relying on cheaper crews from Israel. If the original film made people believe that a man can fly, The Quest for Peace shows that one can just as easily fall from grace.
And there will be peace. There will be peace when the people of the world want it so badly that their governments will have no choice but to give it to them.
Which sequels do you think look more dated than their predecessors? Let us know in the comments.
Alan,
Alan!
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.